Shalom, shalom. It's falling Yeshua. Welcome again to that's right, the rock. I'm in my goat pen right now, but I just wanted to answer this question and have this talk. You can see right here, I cut down a lot of these trees so that I could let the sunlight hit the soil, so a lot of the undergrowth and grass seed and other seeds I planted here for the goats to grow. One thing I want to talk about is, why would a person live like this in 2022? You know, that question right there kind of shows me that a lot of people are not paying attention to what is actually happening in this world. Because people that are paying attention, I'm not even talking about people in the faith. You know that over the last couple of years since the whole zombie plague hit, people have been relocating out of these large metropolitan areas and moving to lands like this. They've been buying property. I can't tell you how the properties out here, and this is all through the Ozarks. Brothers I talked to all through the Ozarks letting me know, hey, land is being bought up like crazy. People are buying raw land and driving their travel trailer out there and living like that for a year or two and building up their resources so that they could live this life. Because people started to see, with the crime raising and all that stuff, they didn't want to be around those areas. They didn't want to raise their family in those areas. They wanted to get out of those areas. So your average, everyday person has been able to see what's going on in this world, and they've been making steps. They've been coming out. Now, for those of us in this faith, we obey the scriptures. Come out, hurt my people. That's what the book says. So, we do it. Another thing you can clearly look at is you can see what's going on in society. You can see the level of crime. Back where I lived in Southern California, it was not a good place. You can't send your children outside because it's just not safe. There's stuff going on around them. Obviously, that's not what and where you want to raise your children. Where in order to take them to a park, you have to literally drive 20, 30 minutes away because all the parks in the area that you lived in were overran. Prostitution, gangs, things like that. And you want to raise your children in a good area. You want your children to have an inheritance. You're trying to live a life where your children aren't going to have to live the life that you lived. This is a new garden area. Been plowing up. Those of you who've been watching the videos, it's next to that garden area. So I've been plowing this up. Got some trees to take down here to get the sunlight here. And that right there alone is a big enough reason. Food. See, right now, over the past couple years, every vegetable that we have eaten has been grown here. Every egg that we have eaten has been produced here. My children never have to worry about food. And you know what? If the grocery stores don't have food, my children, my wives, don't ever have to worry about food. They don't ever have to worry about it. We got some bulbed onions in here right now. They don't ever have to worry about food. We were able to store and can and freeze an abundant amount of food. We still have radishes growing on our soil right now. And with food prices increasing, do you realize that that has no effect on me as far as my vegetables go, as far as my eggs go, and next year as far as my milk goes, as far as 80% of my meat goes. I won't have to worry about it. My potatoes are grown here. Who would live like this in 2022? Those that can foresee what's happening in this world. Those that do not want to be continually dependent on other people. Because you do know that places like this, I mean, maybe not this place, not this land, but I am surrounded by farmland. I am surrounded by people that have, wooded, 200 wooded acres and then 300 acres cleared because they're running 1,500 head of cattle, 2,000, 2,500, 5,000 cattle. Where do you think that cattle goes? It goes to the grocery store that you get your food from. So people have to live out here because they have to grow the food that you eat. Do you think your food, your cattle is grown in San Diego, California? Do you think your cattle is grown in Atlanta, Georgia? Des Moines, Iowa? Tulsa or Oklahoma City, Oklahoma? St. Louis or Kansas City, Missouri? Do you think it's grown there? No, it's grown out here. It's grown in places like this. So who would live this? People that understand and can foresee that live this. We don't want to be dependent on somebody else to provide us food. We want to grow our own. It's more nutritious. I know it's in the soil. I know I know whether it's heirloom or not. I know whether it's organic or not because I'm growing it. And a lot of people have a lot to say about this. A lot of negative to say about it. But these are the same people that are relying on people who live out here for them to eat. They don't mind going to work every single day and taking their paycheck and turning their paycheck back in to the system to pay your rent. You may make $5,000 a month, but you turn around and take that $5,000 and you're paying $2,500 in rent a month. Then you buy your food to the tune of $500 to $1,500, and you pay your water bill, and you pay your lights bill, and you pay your trash bill, and you pay this bill, and you pay that bill. And by the time you are done, you have very little to show for it. You have nothing for your children. When you die, you become a liability to your children because you don't own anything. But when Yah takes my breath and I leave this earth, my children have a home and always will. My wives have a home, always will, paid for, cared for. They don't have to worry. My children can I'm starting businesses. They don't have to worry about where are their jobs at? They're going to be able to slide right into the business that they've been working for, been assisting in. They slide right into it. They don't have to worry where their food comes from. They don't have to worry where their water comes from. They don't have to worry where the nutrients come from. They don't have to worry about any of that stuff. They'll be able to build. They'll have skills. They know how to set up solar. They know how to raise chickens, raise goats. One of my daughters has taken an extreme liking to veterinarian work. So that's one of the things that we've been including in her homeschooling is how to take care of animals because she just taken on to it. She's not going to have to grow up and say, well, I have to go to school and get $60,000, $70,000 in debt. Nope, she'll be able to be an assistant to her husband from jump. My sons will know how to build, know how to raise crops and animals, know how to nurture wives, know how to live, not just survive. They won't have to be dependent on a system for everything, the way many of you are. So while we talk negatively on these things, we don't really realize that we need the people that live these lives, because if people stop living this life, most people would starve to death. Most people cannot see what's happening in this world. They don't understand what they see. They see it as, this is just going to fix itself. It's just going to fix itself. Meanwhile, you have the elite. You have the Bill Gates, and you have millionaires, multimillionaires, bankers buy land and move out to that land. Why are they leaving these major cities? Why are they buying farmland? You know what? You want to know one commodity that's never, ever, ever going to lose value? Food. Food will never lose its value. Wars in ancient times were fought over resources like salt and water. Do you think that food is ever going to lose its value? No, it's only going to become more valuable. As we continue to have these fertilizer crises and fertilizer plants blowing up and shelves emptying out and China's buying everything up. Everybody knows what's happening. Everybody can see what's happening, but only few are willing to make the move. So while we sit back and we wonder, why would people live like this in 2022? Because they foresee the evil, and they're doing everything that they can to hide themselves from what they see coming. Just because you haven't been given the eyes to see does not mean that what was seen is not real. It just means that you don't have the eyes to see it. And even if you did see it, you wouldn't know what to do with it. You would not know what to do with what you saw. So it's completely easier to sit back and say, well, any person that would dare live that life has to be crazy. Well, I would guess not everybody makes a good slave, huh? Not everybody is just completely content with their servitude. There are some of us that were in the field, while many of you were in the house. Kind of reminds me in Egypt, when the children of Israel left Egypt. How many of those so-called Israelites complained and murmured when they left? How many really had to think about it? Well, do I really want to leave? Do I really not want to be in that system? Because, I mean, Pharaoh did take pretty good care of us. Pharaoh really did, do some okay things by me. Some of you couldn't fathom separating yourself from Pharaoh, separating yourself from the lives that you live today. Some of you, many of you, couldn't fathom the idea of being responsible for yourself. Having the responsibility of you and your household. Some of you couldn't fathom that idea. That idea sounds scary, doesn't it? That's the problem that we have today. Some of you would have much rather stay on the plantation. In fact, you would have told on the ones that said, we're getting out of here, we're running. You would have went to the master. Master, they trying to run. So you can get some kickbacks from your master. I guess you don't mind getting bent over the table when he feels like it. I guess you don't mind being dragged into the master's quarters when he felt like it. In 2022 and beyond, as we get closer to 2030, as we get closer to 2025, as things continue to get worse, not better, you'll see why many of us made these moves. Why we obeyed Yah, why we fled from all the sins that were happening. I'm not saying there's not sin out here, but there is a hell of a lot more sin in these metropolitan areas, and there's a lot more opportunity to fall into it. When you are out here and you're working, and working, and working, and working, and you grow your food by the sweat of your brow, and you are on it, when you are doing that, let me tell you, you don't have time to be dibble-dabbling in all the bullshit. You don't have time to watch TV shows. You don't have time to even have damn cable, because I ain't got cable. No, you are providing for, you are growing, You are trying to start something and trying to create something that many people don't understand. Well, they don't understand it until it's too late. Meanwhile, the elite get it. There are rappers who bought lands and are buying lands. They get it. Setting up little places on them. They get it. But it's always the serfs, the peons, who don't get it, who sit back and say, well, I don't know, you ain't got to do all that. You're right, you don't have to do all that. But when Yah tells us to do it, we do it. We do all that. I want my children to learn the skills, to be able to hatch the chickens. It's amazing. We hatch an unbelievable amount of chickens now. And now guess what? We're selling them. People want chickens now. People want to buy them like crazy. There's a big time market out here for chickens because the hatcheries online are backlogged. They can't find them, but guess what? It's an opportunity here. We got Rhode Island Reds in here, and Americanas, and New Jersey Giants, and Cinnamon Kings and Queens, and Barred Rocks, and Australorps, and they want them. Freedom Rangers. The opportunities are there, but you're going to have to get out of that mindset. Food is one of the things that will always be wanted. Always. Whether we are in good times or bad times, food is one of those things that are always wanted. Right now, I am selling massive amounts of artichokes, Jerusalem artichokes, massive amounts of seeds. Everybody wants seeds right now. So y'all can keep playing the game. Keep playing it. Keep asking, who lives like that in 2022? Because the way the world's going, whether it be 2023 or 2030, you may be sitting back kicking yourself in the ass, asking yourself, why didn't I live like that in 2022? Bless y'all. I just showed you a couple of my gardens. I have plenty of other gardens I could show, but I was on this side of the property, so I'm showing you these. Bless y'all. Shalom.